A ver, tómale foto.
Alright guys, what's up everyone? Welcome back to No Offers. Today I got my boy
Jorge Ruiz right here.
Jorge
Thank
Ruiz,
you for
man.
having me.
This guy right here, he's the future Kanye. Nah.
Nah, no, I don't know about that.
But without the scandals, just with the art. Right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
So, dude, so that's I guess the biggest thing, cause you know me and you go way back since what, high school? Or did I know you since before that?
No, I think it was before that too, no?
Really?
Middle school, no?
What middle school did you go to?
Same one as you.
Hollywood?
Yeah.
But I don't think I remember you that much.
Honestly, I remember moments where you were there.
Yeah?
Like, moments, yeah, with
Tomas or what?
Yeah, actually, yeah, with all of them. Yeah. Yeah, and then there was a bunch of other people in the mix too. But I remember, I think it was like a big group before back then.
Probably.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
we just know each other from other people.
From passing by, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember sometimes when people would be like, "Hey, I remember you from this person." I'm like, "Oh, I never talked to them, but we were around the same people."
Yeah.
So that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it seems like we haven't kept up in a while, just on social media, saying what's up.
Yeah. Passing by,
dude. But I'm really looking forward to your stuff, man. JobberyRejects.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing one right now. It's screen printed.
JobberyRejects.
Yeah.
So what gave you the idea to start your own clothing brand, man? Where'd you get inspired first?
You know what? It was from basketball. I remember before. Really? Yeah, I had a bunch of basketballs. Then, like my dad had a bunch of tools. So then he branded his tools. Then I just gave myself a logo. So then that's where I started. I drew the logo on the basketball. I really liked it. Then afterwards, I was like, I want to put it on a shirt. And then I was telling my homies, because we would always go play ball a lot. And I'd be like, would you guys be down to wear a JR, which was my initials? And then afterwards, they were like, yeah. But then after thinking about it, I was like, I wouldn't want them to wear my name, you know? It was something personal to me. You know, it's personal to me, like a personal logo. Yeah. So then afterwards, I was like, what if it becomes like a small brand, right? So then I started to sketch up stuff. I started to look up online.
And this was still during high school?
It was during college. It was during, it happened in 2019. So it was during college. And I found that JobberyRejects resonated with my ideas and stuff like that. So then I pushed that.
And it's also Jorge Ruiz on JR?
The initials, yeah. So then I told my homies about it. I had a whole meaning behind it. Tried to make it make sense. Then I rolled with it. And then from there on, I told my homies if they were down to let me borrow some of their pieces. Because to just represent, right? It would be like, can I borrow a shirt and then let me do something with it, then I'll give it back to you, and like as a favor, just wear it, right? To get it out there. So then everyone that I told was pretty down, like no issues. They're like, yeah, for sure. And like if I mess it up, I'm sorry. Like I'll try to do something to repay you or you know, like my bad if I mess it up because I'm still learning. So then I did that for a bit. Then afterwards, I embroidered by hand. That took a lot of time. Then afterwards, I was just like, I should just invest in a machine. So then I got an embroidery machine. Then I had to get all the equipment to obviously have the embroidery machine work. Then digitizing software. Then like learning all that stuff was also like a learning curve. So then from there, it kind of pushed me forward to explore different realms of methods. So then like screen printing came in. Then like the heat transfer vinyl, stuff like that came in. Then I started to mix all those medias. Then the machine that I had was a embroidery and a sewing machine. So then I started to sew a bit too, like little designs, so like cut and sew and then yeah, that took a pretty good chunk of how do you say it, like trial and error. And research as well. Trial and error and research for sure.
So I think because I've seen your videos, right? I've seen your stuff, and so screen printing would be when you're with the ink and the block.
Yeah, the ink and the screen. Yeah. And you need your design, so that's what you're printing on. Yeah.
So you need to make the design first from the
wherever
website,
software.
The software, and then you need to print that out and then have it, and then so you basically put a block of ink and then you're.
So then, so like from the beginning process, you need your screen first, and depending on your design, if it's like really detailed, like the higher mesh count would be better for that, and then the lower mesh count, like if you're just doing like block letters, the lower the mesh count would be better for that. And then like if you're doing it from start to finish, I need your screen first and your emulsion, and you coat that, and you let that dry overnight, and then you have your transparent film, which is in black, so that the ink doesn't go through when you're exposing it to the light. So then once you have your film, it's transparent, and your screen that's coated already and dried, you put that on top, and then like you turn on your either a light or some sort of what's it called? I think it's like I forgot the term, but you need your specific light that would shine on it, and then for a specific amount of minutes, and then from there you just go wash it off, and then your design should come out.
Like, it shouldn't come out.
No, your transparency film in the dark, that's what you want. So then once you wash it off, you'll get your design, and then the rest would dry, and then that screen you can use as long as you want, or as long as you take care of it really well, then it'll last you for a while.
Oh wow, that's a really hard process.
Yeah. So then I haven't even gotten down to it since I'm still doing it like at home. I don't have all the proper equipment. Okay. So yeah.
How do you? Well, I think that's a very good idea of you actually recording a process and I guess capturing the process, because it shows like how much hard work it takes into that one shirt. Yeah. Because like you explaining it to me, I have to leave it overnight. I have to do this coat. Like it just takes so much patience for one shirt. Yeah. And I think that would be difficult to like show it to the customer. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is, yeah. Like a customer would just see a t-shirt and they'll see a t-shirt, but they won't know that this one is like factory made, like millions in a second. Yeah, but this one, it took you like all night, several coats to do, you know? Yeah, and sometimes if it doesn't come out, like let's say when you're exposing it to the light, you do like 8 minutes, and then like let's say you do 8 minutes, right? And then you wash it off, then the entire thing washes off. It's because you needed longer time to get it exposed. So that's what happened to me multiple times. I would have to test what's the right distance from the light to the screen in the right time. Because then once you do, let's say your design washes off the way you don't want it to wash off, it's like you have to clean the entire screen again, then wait for it to dry, and then coat it again, let it stay overnight. Sometimes they recommend like even 2 nights, so just like let it dry, or like if you have a blow dryer, dry it up like that too. And but yeah, like distance on that stuff, the timing too, because then I've been on a learning process. Yeah, it's a learning process for sure. Yeah. Would you say that's the best form of making a shirt, or what would be for you? Because you've mentioned 3 or 4 type of ways to make a shirt. What would be your favorite? Honestly, it would be embroidery. Okay. Yeah, because that's the reason why I wanted to get into it, for like embroidery, because I always thought quality and like just after like the texture when you're feeling it, like you can either have it be super thin or super thick, right? Yeah. Like there's different type of. You could put a foam under it, and then it'll just puff it up even more. Like there's a little foam, and it'll just stitch on it. So then embroidery was the reason why I got into it. That's like the best one. But then I had to take a pause on that to do the screen printing, because that takes time too. So then right now I'm switching back into embroidery, to doing more embroidery work. But yeah, embroidery for sure. I feel like embroidery work is something that is kind of, and would you be doing just your own brand and your own logos, or would you be down to like do something else with now that you have the machine? Like I know that it's very popular for graduation. Oh, can you embroider my name? Can you embroider this? Like down the line, do you think you'll just have your brand, or do you think you also do like a small embroidery business on the side just because you have the equipment? I definitely want to do other small things, more like collaborations with people than like taking in work for them. The reason for that is because like now looking at all the collaborations, bro, I think collaborations are so dope. Like 2 people coming in to make one thing, or just like 2 individuals, like let's say you and me, right? Like you had different viewpoints, I had different viewpoints, and then just like let's collab. And if it were to be on a shirt or even like a video like this, like collaborations are so dope, in all forms. So then I would definitely want to do more collabs like that, instead of like taking like a job in like let me do it for you, especially more because like that's not where I kind of want to lean to, like become more of a factory, I guess you can say, like producing stuff like that. At least not right now, but I would do it like if they were to tell me like, oh, it's just one thing or whatever. Like if I have time, especially, then yeah, I don't mind. So you want everything that you produce to be a piece that represents the brand.
Yeah, for the most part, I would want to go towards that, or even things like that are interesting to me. Like right now, I've been doing just logo designs. Like that's what I've been. It's because like I've been on a roll just creating a bunch of logos. Because so that's basically what I do as of right now, and then I'm just like producing them and like either screen printing them or like in embroidering them or doing the heat transfer vinyl stuff like that too, and but for like other people in collabs, like I've done one collab with my homie at school, and then we screen printed that stuff. It was like he did his own, I did my own, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, like he did his own kind of branding.
Like he did his own work because we took a class together. Well, he took a class first, and then I took the class afterwards. But like in that class, he screen printed this, and then I screen printed on top of it. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
And the other type that you mentioned was called heat vinyl.
Yeah, heat transfer vinyl.
Heat transfer vinyl. Yeah. Is that like when you have like it kind of feels like a sticker on it?
Yeah, like so you have to have like a Cricut machine. I don't know if you've seen those. So then you put that. You also need a design for that, and then you put it in the machine, and then it'll cut it out. And then from there, you just need usually a heat press is ideal. But then like for me, I don't have a heat press, so I use sometimes I use an iron. So it's for smaller things like that. And but I wouldn't really want to push that out there to sell, you know, because it's like it's not ideal like the way I do it. So then that's also another reason why I haven't really like sold a lot of things, is because it's still like the equipment. I don't want it to be like
you want it to be the best work, right?
Yeah, like I don't want the quality to like for people to know that's the quality that I'm producing. But it's the product, it's like it's more about the learning right now, and then afterwards like okay, like I would need this, I would need that, but since I don't really have that right now, I'm just testing stuff out. But I would say that from testing all these things out on my own, I've gotten more confident in the product and what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do, and how I can manipulate what I have now to make it work, you know?
Use your strengths.
Yeah.
And I don't think we covered this, but what does JobberyRejects mean?
So Jobbery is like taking advantage of someone or something in a higher position for your own benefit. And then reject is like to dismiss, to reject, obviously. So together it would be like rejecting the Jobbery. Rejecting to be a product of someone else or something else, and then like instead just like being great at whatever you choose to do by like following your raw imagination. So like everything that you like aspire to do is just like let's say I have this path for me, or you have this path for yourself, and it's like I want to get there like the best way that I feel I can get there, you know, instead of like bringing your ideas out and then people like altering them, and it's like I kind of want to do that no more, or like stuff like that. Instead of having them be altered by other people, just basically do you, and then just work your way through there. There's hiccups all the time. You can just like go through them.
That makes sense. That makes sense how you're saying that. Yeah, you don't want to be like a factory of just producing stuff. You want to do your own, type of thing. Yeah, and how many? Because I know you're also like a full-time student, right?
Yeah.
So how many hours do you put into JobberyRejects, like a week?
I don't have an exact number because it is off and on. Sometimes I can go a week without doing anything, but then it's always in the back of my mind.
Right, like you're always thinking about it.
Yeah, right? I feel like I get easily inspired sometimes. So it's like I see something, I'm like, oh, that would be dope if I try that, or like manipulate it into my way or whatever, or like reproducing something. And obviously it would be different because it's coming from a different like point of view, which is my view.
Source.
Yeah. So then I'm always trying to do something. At least lately, I've always been trying to do something. I remember before I took a break. I took a good break on it, but then I started to create more videos, more content. Just recording a lot, because then sometimes that can be useful content that you can put up later on. And then for sure doing more things like paying attention to detail. Like I want to be more involved in like having little things that can get overlooked, but then if someone's really paying attention to them, it can be like, oh, this is a really nice touch. Stuff like that.
That's cool.
Like subtle things.
Yeah, like I know brands are doing like little small things, like adding metal tips here, or like maybe a small brand here or on the side,
or a button somewhere here, or like a small little zipper hidden pocket or something like that. You know, like I don't know what's there, but
it's useful, you know.
Yeah, it's dope that it's there.
Yeah, I feel like. Do you have any like inspirations when it comes to like designing, or anyone in the fashion world that you kind of look up to?
For sure, Stussy. I love that brand. I think they do a bunch of good work, a bunch of dope work. Like they have a bunch of I really like lately too. They have a bunch of collaborations. I don't know if you've seen, but they've been doing a bunch of dope stuff out there, collaborating. But I really look for them for inspiration just because of their font, like that Stussy font that they have. That one's so sick.
Yeah.
I tried to make my own like that, but it's just different. Yeah. But yeah, bro, for sure, Stussy's dope. Even like their jackets too. Their like the idea that they have their own font, like their own letters, their own alphabet, and then that's so sick. For sure, like their colors are dope. Their cuts are dope. I think they're just dope, bro, in general.
Yeah, that's good.
Stussy, I look up to them for sure.
I was gonna say, were you always someone that was into fashion?
Honestly, no, I wasn't. No? I didn't really tap into this realm until like later on. I didn't really think about it until I think it was around the time I was starting the brand and the stuff like that. But I know I was into shoes because of basketball.
Like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, basketball.
Like basketball always gets you into shoes.
Yeah, because like, you need good shoes. Like, let's say for just grip, right? Like to not be slipping around, stuff like that.
Like, or you got the Kyries.
Yeah, like even for comfort and stuff like that.
Oh, that's something that you had. You had the Kyries. Yeah. You got them from the. Are you still keeping up with them?
Oh no, I stopped at 3. I stopped at 3.
Okay. Yeah. What is he at now? Like 7 or something?
Bro. I think so. I think he's up there.
Yeah. But now I remember that you got the Kyrie 1s, the 2s, the 3s. Like
when
they
first
the 3s. Come out.
Yeah, I stopped at the 3s.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure, shoes. I was into shoes for a minute because of basketball. And then from there, it felt like it just evolved. And like shoes and like to like outerwear, hoodies and stuff like that. And like the designs on your hoodies or like the cuts on your hoodies or like the way it fits you. I felt like afterwards I started leaning more into what I wear too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel like I'm never really big into like fashion, but I could see how someone could get into it very quickly. Yeah. Just how you mentioned, it starts off with shoes. And I remember like watching all these YouTubers that would speak about shoes, and then like all of a sudden it turned kind of into like fashion.
Like your pants now.
Yeah, because now it's like, how do the pants look on these shoes? Yeah, and then it goes with, okay, you gotta wear this jacket so it doesn't look weird with these pants on, and then out of nowhere you just become a whole like fashionista, and you start seeing these different pieces that you gotta wear together.
Yeah, then some of them fit you like longer or like for different occasions or whatever, like. Dress up or like dress down, casual, different fits, or like this jacket makes you look too casual or whatever, something like that.
That's something that I'm seeing now that I'm kind of transitioning to kind of more of like formal clothes. And I do remember like pre-pandemic era, it was definitely more formal in terms of you gotta wear dress shoes, you gotta wear your slacks, this and that. But now I'm kind of seeing like people in the office wear like even Air Forces, or they're wearing like Chucks with jeans, and it's starting to be like more like just more calm, more everyday type of style, which I think it's good. And then it leaves kind of, well, I feel like a suit is always going to be universal, but I just don't know to what extent, maybe for a lawyer or something, or maybe high ups in the company. Yeah,
I've always said I would always want to wear a suit, like daily. Like, I would be down. If I could, I would, right? Yeah. But I don't have nowhere to wear a suit, so I'm not gonna do that. But if I could, I would. I feel like I don't really remember, but back in high school when they made us do like the interview, and you had to dress up and stuff like that. Like I remember there was a point where I dressed up for like a week straight for different reasons, bro. I like had that
like final presentation,
interview, that something like 3 times in a row, and I was like, bro, it's pretty sick. I liked it, like, but or not had no reason to, but I remember that, and I was like, that's when I was like, I should dress up more. It feels nicer,
Yeah, it does.
It does.
I mean, it goes back to you look good, you feel good, you do good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, for sure. I remember I had no type of formal clothes back then. I remember when we had the football banquet for us. I took like a button up, but it was a short sleeve. And then in terms of a jacket, it was like a windbreaker, and then just jeans and sneakers, and that was like my formal type of dressing.
I know. I used to have a bunch of chinos, so that kind of makes it. You can kind of dress them down and dress them up. Yeah. That's and good. It was just the button ups on top, and then surprisingly, I had ties. like ties that fit me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but my dad had the fat ones,
oh.
like the really big ones. So then I would prefer the skinny ones just because they look better.
Is your dad a bigger guy?
He's taller. He's taller. Yeah.
He's taller than you. Yeah, that makes sense.
So he had the really fat ones. So he had a bunch of those. But then looking through his pile of stuff, because that guy has a lot of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So then looking through his pile, he had like the thin ones, thinner ties, and then I would wear those with the clip, the tie clip,
the tie bar.
The tie bar. There you go. Yeah.
You know, something like, because you know how, you know, our parents, they be holding stuff from the 90s sometimes.
Yeah.
I wonder if we've gone into where we're gonna have a piece that's gonna last us through adulthood and like 20, 30 years from now. You know.
Yeah.
What do you think is something now from your style that you feel like you'll wear at no matter what age?
Oh, a jacket. For sure, bro.
Like this type of jacket that you have?
Yeah, a jacket. I think any kind of jacket. I think recently, bro, I've been on a wave of just jackets, bro. I think I have a bunch of jackets now. Maybe too many that I shouldn't have, you know. But I think a jacket is always dope because you can dress them up, you can dress them down.
Yeah.
You can also wear them over stuff. Like you can wear a hoodie and then put on a jacket, right? And it feels normal. Especially now that it's cold. Yeah. I would want to wear a hoodie or a crew neck and then just put on a jacket. But I feel lately I've transitioned from hoodies to jackets.
Okay.
I'm a jacket guy now.
That makes sense. No, but I do agree with you with that because, for example, now that you're wearing this jacket, I could totally see that. Like instead of wearing like a blazer, you could wear a suit with that jacket.
Yeah.
Or you could just wear it with a t-shirt. You could wear it under a hoodie or under a crew neck.
Yeah.
Like, it's so universal.
Yeah, a jacket for sure, bro.
That's good. What do you think about the fashion trends that are coming up? Do you support like fast fashion or no?
I think it's cool. I think it gets the job done, not gonna lie. But if someone's interested in like longevity for like clothing, then I think maybe they should stick away towards that because sometimes it can be good for the moment, like it's like $20, $30, but then like a couple wears or a couple washes, sometimes it won't. It will either it won't fit the same or it just won't last that long.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is true that they say like if you invested in it more, like the pieces will last you longer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't mind it, like fast fashion. I don't mind it. I think it's dope. Sometimes they have some cool stuff, like some cool little temporary pieces for the winter, for the summer.
And then I think it's kind of crazy how nowadays, like, because fast fashion is so popular and it's like it's everywhere, right? It's at the malls, it's online, it's what's being thrown out at you, that it feels like sometimes people just get pieces and then they don't wear them. Or they get pieces and they wear them for this event and then they don't. Or they wear them for like this Instagram post and then they don't wear them no more. And I feel like that's something that used to be kind of, I guess not like that in that form. Yeah. It used to be like, oh, you gotta wear this jacket for the whole winter. You know? Yeah. Or you have your winter coat and then every year you take that one out. But now with like social media and like all these different celebrities like trying to come out with like the new type of style this winter, I feel like that's why it's become that popular, right? Yeah,
I guess exclusivity. Yeah, that too maybe. Because like, let's say for example, this jacket came out this winter, and it's like that's the only time it's gonna come out or whatever, and like that's why people want it more, or for other reasons like they like that brand or whatever. But yeah, I grew up that way too. Like, oh, you really have this nice jacket for like the winters or whatever. Like that, you know. Or
you're gonna start school. Here's some new shoes. You gotta make them last the whole year.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
But I was gonna ask you, what do you think about the collaboration between street fashion and high-end fashion pieces nowadays? Because I feel that before it was something where it was like street fashion is, you know, originated like in the streets, you know? People wear them or were wearing these because it was cheaper. You know, kind of how all these type of wear that people used to work in factories became kind of like what the youth wore. Yeah. And it became kind of like the street fashion, right? Because it was affordable, it wasn't expensive. Yeah. But now street fashion became so mainstream that it started collaborating with high-end fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think about that?
I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I'm not really of a like crazy for more like designer brands. Yeah, honestly, I can care less what they do or what they bring out sometimes, because I feel like I'm more into the not underground, but like more into like the smaller businesses.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's a bunch of creative people doing a bunch of dope stuff.
Yeah. That's true.
Like if like you'll definitely find a niche. Like if of what you're interested in, from just like looking at how many people like starting brands now or have different interests or stuff like that. But for the big like fashion houses or whatever, I feel like lately they've they're like, how do you say it, they're just, I guess for me, they're just there. Like,
okay.
like yeah, like I don't really pay too much attention to them unless they're doing collaborations. Then I want to see like what they came out with. Yeah, like unless it's a collab, then I would check it out or stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like collaborations are like really huge nowadays, and I just think it's crazy that you don't know who's gonna collab now, because it could be something that's not even having to do with fashion.
Oh yeah.
Or like with Gatorade collaborating with Nike and things like that. What do you think about that? You think it's because I feel like collaborations are so big nowadays. Or do you think they're here to stay, or you think it's just a phase?
No, I think they should keep going, because I think it brings up a different audience for like, let's say that group and this group. Like if you're collaborating, let's say a shoe brand with like for example a makeup brand, right? Like you're opening like different audiences for different people in different spaces. So then like maybe the people that were into makeup are gonna like this shoe, and then like this shoe.
People into shoes, they're gonna go to makeup.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? Sense. You know, like now you just expose your brand or your ideas and stuff to a different audience. So I think collaborations are good. I would want to do more collabs, hopefully in the future, like either with homies like you or just like other small brands or whatever, stuff like that. I think collaborations are dope, and then the end product too, right? From where it started to what you guys were leading to.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Do you think you've inspired other people to start their own brand?
Honestly, bro, I would say I think I have just from talking about it, like just casually talking about it, because I feel like sometimes I can get really into it. Like I'm just like talking from experience, like what I did and what I did to get there, and then just like like I messed up here and I should have done this, and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes I want to tell people like, I am working on something, like check this out. Like always, every time I'm working on something new, there used to be is I work at the Grove, Nordstrom. So then there was a bunch of people there, and then I would just tell them like my work and stuff like that, right? And then I feel like I inspired a couple people to do stuff, not just there, but elsewhere, like I think in school too, and there's like regular people. I feel like I want to be inspirational. I get inspired easily, so
And I mean, just talking to you from what you're saying, I think it's really great, because I feel like if you're inspiring other people when someone else starts their own brand, you're not gonna see them as competition. You're seeing them as, this is a good way to collab.
I tell everyone, like, if you're gonna do it, bro. Like go for it. And sometimes I even like offer me as a resource, because I feel like I've been through some of the things I guess they're gonna go through if it's brand related, like starting a clothing brand. Then like use me as a resource, because I already either done that, or I can just guide you to.
I could tell you where I messed up so bad.
Yeah, and be like, either I don't know.
It made me want to quit.
Yeah, like or something like that, bro. Like I feel like I always tell them like, go do it. Yeah. Always do it. Always try it, and then like it won't hurt to try, you know.
Yeah,
it won't hurt to try.
I've gotten some DMs, bro. When I started like the podcast, I've seen like 2 people already start their own podcast too.
Oh, for real?
From my circle.
Yeah. That's dope. Yeah.
And I saw one other person like DM me and telling me like, hey, I want to start my own podcast, this and that. And they're kind of like throwing their ideas at me and being like, I definitely want to have you on when I start. And I'm like, yeah, man, like whenever you start, have me on, bro. Because then it's a collaboration. Yeah. They'll get to know us, and then people who follow me will get to know them too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, have you been keeping up with like the NBA nowadays or not?
Honestly, not as much as I did before. If I'm being honest with you,
because I remember back in high school, dude, I used to know every single player on every single team, and not no more.
Not no more. Yeah, honestly, no.
I think it's also because I used to play a lot of 2K though. That's why. And then you get to know everyone, you know.
Yeah.
But Dude, I just think, because you know, my favorite player, LeBron.
Yeah.
Dude, he's about to beat the record, man.
Yeah, bro, Ruiz.
He's about to be the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
Dude, he's my goal, dude. He's my goal.
Yeah, respect for sure. Respect for sure. I think you can't hate on his work and what he impacted, like other people and stuff like that. For sure, respect. Like, for sure.
Yeah. And how long do you think he's going to keep going, man? I mean, this is his, 20th year? And he's scoring 30 points a game?
Yeah, bro, I don't know, bro. I don't know how long.
I think I just recently saw...
a little longer.
I recently saw some stats, and he's doing better now, like, stat-wise, than he did in his 2013 Miami Heat MVP season.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember LeBron Miami. That was crazy, bro.
That LeBron was definitely a lot more athletic.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a different animal.
Yeah, for sure.
But this LeBron is hitting threes.
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if the year after Kyrie left, LeBron was just hitting dimes and was like making these crazy passes and crazy moves. And I feel like that really showed the people again that this guy is still crazy. He still got it. And then doing it now in his 20th season, I feel like he might still. I don't think he's gonna be like Slaughter, man, that never retires.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, respect for sure. That's like the day in and day out, like games and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he's tired. He's tired, bro. Sometimes, especially, you gotta be like that guy that everyone looks for, or like the metal. You just get tired.
Especially because he was trying to make Anthony Davis the go-to guy. Yeah. But Anthony Davis never ascended to that. No, he's good, but he's not the guy that's gonna carry the whole team on his back, you know.
Yeah. Sadly. But
I feel like, because I always said this, like at the moment where LeBron is too, maybe he loses his hop. Maybe he's not as athletic as before, and he's not like producing the same numbers. If you just move him to point guard, he could still give you 10 assists a game.
Yeah, bro, you can move him anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's still gonna do like a lot of work, and he could probably keep on going for like the next 10 years.
Yeah, bro, that guy. You just gotta replace the batteries on him, and he's good to go.
Yeah. How has your journey been through college? You're majoring in architecture?
Yeah.
So how has that been?
It's been pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like after you finish every project, you feel like like sometimes after you're done and you sit down and you think about it, it's like, wow, like I produced another project. Yeah, produced another project. Like all the work that I took in or like research and stuff like that. Like it feels good. The result after you finish like a studio, you feel good. I feel good. Hopefully everyone else does feel good. It's just it's nice to have your work develop from what like an idea to like a final product. Yeah.
Because I remember I'm pretty sure you were there in the class with Miss Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that she used. I remember because she was heavy on her students being like engineers or architectures or something within that realm, right? And I remember there was this one day where she showed us an equation, and she hit play, and with that equation, like it made a bridge. I don't know if you remember that day.
I don't think I remember specifically that day, but I know for sure she was like a big help to all of us. Yeah. And she always pursued, like, wanted us to like aspire something.
Mm-hmm. But I remember that day so vividly, like when she made a bridge out of an equation, and I'm like, this is like it's making us like it's showing us that this work and these numbers could produce real life and physical things. And I remember just saying that's so cool. But at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's like my career that I want to go through, you know. But I just thought that was so cool, man. Like I feel like if I was like an engineering student or I wanted to do architecture, that would have been like the point where I trace back like my origins of wanting to do that career. Have you seen like what type of work do you do as an engineering student? Like when you're talking about like these projects, is it more like online in the software, like planning things out and building things out, or have you actually like had hands-on experience?
For sure, as an architecture student, they teach you they teach you early on that you have to wear different hats. Like you have to be you have to be knowledgeable to understand the work that your like teammates are doing. Like, and I say teammates by like when you do go off and work in the field, like there's gonna be like a structural engineer, there's gonna be like the what's it called, basically the other team members that are helping you build the project, because you won't do it alone, and they tell you
the guy surveying the land.
Yeah, they tell you won't be doing it alone for sure. It's a collaborative
team project.
Yeah, like when you're doing like real work in the field and stuff like that, like in real world, you for sure have a team. So then they mention to you that you don't even know all these things. Like, let's say for like structure wise, like you don't really have to be doing the math or anything like that, because there's an expert that has a degree in that field. So this like, instead of you doing that or taking care of that,
there's an expert.
Yeah, there's always an expert. So like, it's fine if you're not the expert for all these things, because there's always going to be an expert that does like the concrete or the windows or like the doors or stuff like that, or like the interior designer that does the inside stuff like that, or like the landscape architect that does the outside stuff like that, right? So then you don't have to be like the one that does everything, because then that's just, I feel like you're throwing too much work on yourself when there's experts that went to school for these specific things that you're doing or that you need done. So then for sure they taught us early on that you're gonna be wearing different hats. So then that means you're just gonna have to like know how to communicate with them and stuff like that. So in that terms, you do gain a lot of information, because you need to design. For us, we usually design the building or the project or whatever we're working with, and then from that it comes like a lot of research that deals with like environment, the sun, like the people too, where your project's gonna be at, like how to benefit them, or even just like the surroundings from them, like, oh, I'm close to parks, or I'm close to schools, or I'm close to restaurants.
Have you seen that one building that they built that was like the way that the sun hit it just made like a car melt?
Oh really?
Yeah, there was this one thing where they built, it was like, I don't know, sometimes I look up like random stuff on YouTube, where sometimes random stuff pops up, and there was this one like, the biggest constructions that were torn down or something like that.
Because there was melting stuff?
Yeah, so it was like a straight glass building, but the way the sun hit it in that angle just made it hit the street so hard that it started melting cars. Damn. And I think that's like the type of stuff that you gotta look out for. Honestly, stuff like that. Everything could be like structurally sound, you know? Yeah.
Right now we're working on a project. It's called the Solar Decathlon. I do right now I'm doing drone videography for it too, and it's a single family housing that's a dorm for students at the school that I'm at, which is Woodbury University, and it's 3D printed technology. So they're 3D printing the walls up to a certain height, and then having a roof that becomes built on top of it. But that project is pretty dope because it's the first California like student dorm 3D printed house. It's a smaller house in the back of where the dorms are at. Pretty exciting stuff. They're gonna start 3D printing it this upcoming week. So pretty dope stuff with that. And then that's like a studio that I did last semester, which is like a studio that most students won't experience because they're building a project during school. Like it's like I'm working like in a small little office, a quote unquote office, but it's getting done. Like the project's getting built while we're still in school, which is like a dope experience to have as a student, as an architecture student.
You're gonna be part of the history.
But yeah. We'll be recording it too. I don't know if you've seen, but I've done posts out there from like drone stuff from a school. Well, that's the project.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check it out again. I was gonna ask you, what, because I know that because I majored in finance, and I feel that majoring in that made me kind of open my eyes to all these different careers I could get. So majoring in architecture, like, what are the different careers that someone could get being majoring in that?
I feel like there's a bunch of them. Also, something they talked to us about like in the beginning is they told us like, cause it is a hard field. I'm not gonna lie, that it's like going to school for architecture is pretty tough. There's nights where like you don't sleep because you got to produce work, and then you go the reviews. You basically go to get critiqued, basically, right? Your final review, you're getting critiqued by a jury of people telling you either your work is good or it needs improvement and stuff like that. But they've told us that like in the beginning when we first started our first like studio days, like all you guys are gonna not all you guys are gonna graduate. I mean, not all you guys are gonna become architects, like when you grow up, right? And it's fine. But he was also stressing that the field opens your eyes and your way of thinking to like branch out into different niches and go into different interests that you have. And I feel that is true because like now that I'm about to graduate, I feel like it's opened me to have like a niche in like my clothing brand and even stuff like design wise. Like I feel like now I'm into design in general. Yeah. And then I feel like now it's more of like industrial design, like designing things, like simple things, like even just like the idea of a toothbrush, right? Like someone had to design a toothbrush and how it works and stuff like that. So like things like that, I feel like I've gotten into more, and I kind of want to like push like that realm a little more, like just designing stuff like that, like for example, like the toothbrush I said, or like a spoon or a fork or stuff like that. Like home decor stuff like that is interesting to me too. And it's like a bunch of architects also did stuff like furniture or like painting or like photography. Like there's always like someone or some of them that have
because you're very observant when it comes to like the world now because of your career.
Honestly, yeah, you do become more observant and you have to like think about other people or other aspects in their environment, and that's what they taught us too.
Oh, now that you said that, I'm curious. Has there been ever something where you're looking at maybe at a room or maybe like an object, like you mentioned furniture, and you're like, and you think about why it was designed like that, and have you ever thought I could do something better, or like I feel like I could design something better?
Yeah, you know what it is, the sinks at school, or specifically yes, there's like, or just sinks in general. Sometimes I feel like the faucet sometimes it's too close to the and it's like when you're washing your hands,
you gotta touch the faucet.
My knuckles are hitting the side where I wouldn't want it to get hit, and it's like, oh man, I'm washing my hands and it's getting hit. Like that's kind of annoying. So I would wish like stuff like that gets designed better, you know, stuff like that. That's like, and that's what I'm interested in too. Like, oh, like people had to design stuff like that.
And then you gotta think about like why did they design it?
Like why did they put it so close?
And thinking about it now, it's probably for a splash.
Maybe, honestly.
Right? And then I've also seen some of the sinks where it's like the regular sink, and then they have like two tubes that come out like this way. Yeah. And you're like, you don't want me to get clothes up in there? Or what? I gotta bend over and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's something. I think that's something amazing.
Like there's design
because now I'm thinking like, damn, George is probably gonna invent something in the near future. Like he's probably gonna be an inventor now.
Honestly, this funny you bring that up because before when I was younger, I always wanted to be an inventor.
Really?
I think, yeah. But I always wanted to do things. I didn't know what, but I felt like an inventor was always something that was in the back of my mind, just inventing things.
You know what I wanted to be when I was a kid? I wanted to be an architect.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Because I just thought it was like, well, I was always told there was math involved. And I was always really good at math as a kid. And then I've always used to love drawing. And I'm like, and so they kind of threw it at me like, oh, be an architect, you know.
That one does get thrown at you if you like to draw or like math. It's like here, architecture is for you, bro. Yeah.
So I feel like that's why it would get thrown at me as a kid, and I would always think about it like, oh, it must be pretty cool designing houses and stuff like that.
But that's what I got. That's how it basically got thrown to me too. Yeah, like it was not. I wasn't really into drawing a lot, but math for sure. Math, and then I was into Lego, so building, right? Like making stuff. So it's like math and making stuff, architecture, right? That's how I got it thrown into me, and then I rolled with it. And then
I remember they would always tell you like, are you someone that's curious and wants to know how things work? And I'm like, yeah, I mean that sounds like me. Like I like to know how things work.
Yeah.
So that's something that was that gets thrown at you, huh?
Yeah, it was. When they see those those interests of you, like, oh yeah, architecture, do that.
Cause so have you had any like funny memes that you've seen while you're in college? Cause I know for us, like in the business majors, it's always seen like, oh, the accounting people, they're more shy, finance people, they're more talkative, things like that. What do you think would be different between an architecture and like an engineering student?
I'm not too sure, but I know that they kind of make fun of like all-nighters. Like a bunch of us sometimes do all-nighters. I recently stopped doing all-nighters. I go to sleep now. I think it's better. I think it's because then before I would be like, let me just stay up and knock it out, right? but then it's just like, let me just go to sleep and wake up early.
Yeah.
So then now I just go to sleep and wake up early.
Because my little brother, he's an engineering student,
mm-hmm.
and he's always sending me memes about like, you being an engineering student and having to produce like this work, while your business major friend has to do coloring or something. And he's always like dissing me with my major and stuff like that.
That's funny.
Well, reels are supposed to be horizontal, right?
Yeah.
But we don't record horizontal. We record. I mean, they're supposed to be vertical.
Yeah, I understood.
But we record horizontal. So, and I think zooming in would just kind of like take out the quality.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I've been doing like the videos horizontally, and then the thumbnail on top, and then like the words in the bottom. Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, it's something.
Yeah. And it works.
It works. Yeah. So then I have some guy right now, and hopefully he's gonna do more of those. More of the reels, and I'm just like, if you could find a better way, like go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, just do them like this. And I'm like, whatever works best for you. If you want to do like a couple of them in a day,
yeah.
Or if you want to spend like 2-3 hours in the weekend and do like 100 of them, like up to you, bro. Yeah. But do you feel that you're gonna grow your team, or you feel like you're gonna make a team for your business?
Oh, for my business, I think at some point you have to transition to becoming a team, because you can't be doing it all sometimes. Mm-hmm. I feel tired just doing all the things, like, because then you become the designer, the guy that produces it, the social media guy, and it's like the editor.
Yeah, because you gotta be the first. You gotta be the idea guy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But the idea guy sometimes contradicts with the finance guy. Yeah. And saying, do I spend this or do I not? But this guy says we need it, and then you gotta be the content creator too. And content creating and social media is different from you actually producing your own shirts. Yeah. And you gotta wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of like school stuff. I feel like it's already kind of prepared, like, to little things like that.
Yeah, like to be like wearing an
different hats.
Right?
Yeah, you have to wear different hats for sure. But I enjoy it. I think it's still something I want to pursue. Like by myself. I still want to go alone a little bit, and afterwards, like once I see it getting some traction, then I think I might have to pick up a team or something like that, or just or doing things slowly and obviously letting the people know like I'm a one-man team. Just like bear with me.
Yeah, I feel like that's also
if you're vocal about it.
So I recently saw a clip, and it talked about like the Japanese work style. And so in Japan they're very structured to the old school ways, but they're not, like, the value isn't the same in terms of currency. Let me explain it, because I know that sounded kind of off. So they're still doing some stuff like ancient times. Like they're still producing things like the old ways with their hands, with old techniques. But the thing is that the finished product isn't worth it now, because there's factories or there's newer ways to produce this that are quicker. Yeah, I see what you mean. So like these guys are here stuck. And it's sometimes it's good that tradition is being kept. Yeah. And like this knowledge is being kept, but it's not giving them anything to support that lifestyle, because now this product they're gonna have to do it more expensive, but it's cheaper over here. Yeah. And like, of course, there's no culture and no tradition over here. Yeah. But it's cheaper, and sometimes people go to that. The easier, I guess, the cheaper route. Yeah, the cheaper route, and the quality is the same, when it comes to that type of stuff. And then I was also seeing how there's this place where I think it was meat, like Japanese meat, and it's not even like Wagyu or anything of the high quality stuff. Just at this type of meat, there's like a 40-year waiting line, just because that's how long it's gonna take them to make like the meat, like to cut the meat up. You gotta let them grow up and stuff. Yeah, like it's like the traditional way. That's crazy. I think traditions are good. I think traditions should be kept, because it kind of brings a little more authenticity for sure, but then personality, like in the piece that's being made or whatever, like there's some sort of like characteristic towards like it's been made this way, I feel like that sometimes that can be nice. That's a story on its own, right? I feel like loyalty is so strong nowadays, where once you get like those customers, I feel like they'll stay with you like throughout the whole ride.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's okay, George. Give it to me when you can," you know.
Yeah.
Or like or people would be proud to wear Jobbery Reject as opposed to like something else that they got like on Zara or H&M, you know. And they're gonna look for these pieces because I think nowadays like fashion has become so unique to the person. Just because I think we live in we live in a time now where you get to kind of pick who you are, and you don't really have to be kind of wearing the social standards. Yeah. Even though trends are popular and people still like the trends, but now I wouldn't be surprised if I walked into a room and saw someone like, if I saw a woman dressed in a dress of like the 19th century, and then I saw some guy that was kind of dressed like the 80s, saw some guy dressed like the 70s. I feel like that's so like so normal nowadays that you get to pick your own style. And you know, with popularity of thrifting and reusing clothes, like I feel like it's normal nowadays to kind of be proud of your own style and not having to wear like what everyone else is wearing.
That's basically how I started. Honestly, I wanted to make my own clothes. I always thought the idea of making your own clothes is like so sick. Like, oh, I make my own clothes. Like, just saying that alone, it sounds so sick. So then, that's how I started. I started to design the logo on shirts. I first sewed it, like with just regular like sewing string. I just did an outline.
Just did it, like...
Yeah, just in and out, and outline quick. And then from there, I liked it. I put it on. Like, this is sick.
Was so that the box one?
No, it's
with the face or no?
No, that one came right after, but it was just a J and then the R like that right next to it. Like it was like sandwiched, like the J and the R line.
Oh, okay.
They were just met together. So then that one came like that. Then I wanted to make another one, so then I made another version. Then from there I started thinking about other stuff. So then I got an idea that was like without creative knowledge, and I abbreviated it to WAC. So then that from there came another idea. Then I was like, how can I incorporate all these into one without having them become separate brands, you know? So then it just became categories, like subcategories within the bigger brand, which is JobberyRejects. Then like without creative knowledge would be like a subcategory with its own ideas and like own guidelines to create clothes and stuff like that. Like this phrase, without creative knowledge, like anything could go, like just with the phrase alone. And then like other categories and stuff like that. So that's where I've also been working in with having categories within the bigger brand on its own, so it can just have something pushing, like something new. Also, so like I won't get stuck, because I feel like sometimes you can have creative block and you won't be able to create work. But then like if you stop or have this like sitting in the back burner and then or like put it on the shelf, like quote unquote, right, and then work on another project, and then you come back for it with a different set of eyes, or like you went to sleep and you let it sit and you come back and it's like, oh, now I got something, right? So I've always been transitioning into stuff like that. And then moving forward now, it's like in the seasons, like I want to do something with like winter, fall, and like summer, stuff like that too. So have like a specific line of stuff like that. Then also like with sports, like have a whole
like sports line.
Yeah, like a whole sports like wearing like a anorak jacket or something like that, right? Or like designing something like that, or even like dressing up and dressing down. Like have nicer clothes, you know how some brands have like the nicer high-end stuff to dress up, and other stuff like a little more casual. So there's like a bunch of different categories, and I try to touch all of them just because it's like at the end of the day it was all meant to design stuff for myself. But then people started liking it, so then I was like, oh, then you want a shirt? Like let me borrow it, because that's how it started. Let me borrow it, and make something, and I'll just give it back to you, and you can just rep it and wear it. So it all started with just that, and then people started to like it. Like the idea, then that's when I was like, I should just push it as a brand. Yeah. But it all started with just like, I want to wear this and make my own clothes. Let me make
something I want to wear.
That's basically how I started.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that I feel like that's like the, how would I say it? Like the magic powder of a successful business. You making something that you wouldn't want to wear yourself.
And then I wouldn't want to like put something out that I wouldn't wear. Yeah. Right. So that's also like something that I wouldn't want to. Like that's where I draw the line. Like I'm not gonna cheap someone out or finesse them for their money, right? Because that's like it's not my intention. Plus, it's like if I wouldn't wear it, I wouldn't want you to wear it. Yeah. You know. So when I do take stuff like that, I tell them like I don't have proper equipment. I'm just like practicing still, so like be aware, right? And
do you think have you seen any advantages or disadvantages of kind of trying to meet like the different niches as opposed to focusing on one and then seeing how far it goes?
Advantages for sure on like I guess creativity wise. Like sometimes I can explore this further, and I can't really do it here.
Because sometimes, like you mentioned, maybe you have a creativity block on this, but then you have an idea that helps this, right?
Yeah, so then I'll push this forward and then leave this sitting, and then I'll come back to it and then also push it forward. Like recently, I want to brand not only my brand JobberyRejects, but also me as a person. So then have, like, I don't want to put myself into, like, I don't know if it makes any sense, but like, I want to have my personal work also be separate from the brand work, you know? It's not all like always one, if that makes sense. Because I think at some point I would want to make things that don't fall under like the guidelines or rules that I have set up for Jobbery, right? Like I can't do, like I would say,
I guess that makes sense, right? Because you as a person, just how you mentioned in the clothing that you have to wear athletic, formal, like all these type of clothing, you as a person, you also have these different ideas.
Yeah.
And JobberyReject, that it has to be aligned to JobberyReject and like the meaning behind it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you're gonna have to maybe you want to create something that doesn't really align with JobberyReject, but it still aligns with you.
Yeah. So like having it separate too. Also like the idea that like the brand would be the brand and I'm me still, and then I can either do a collab with the brand or me. Right, like for further projects and stuff like that, and then that would be also cool too. Like just having like my own personal work, which is like stuff that I would want to explore more, or like let's say it's just like something that I'm trying out that's new. Like let me just work with it personally, and then if it works out or whatever, then let me just either bring another subcategory and then introduce it into like what I've investigated or found out, and like let me work with it and like make some logo or like some idea with like Jobbery now thrown in.
I could already see myself going to the store. So maybe like Gucci and then like Ruiz and then Prada like lined up next to each other.
I recently made a logo for my personal work, so then I'm really excited about that. I haven't thrown it on anything yet, but I'm excited how it came out. It's just a signature of my last name, pretty sick. So then I also want to do like home decor stuff or just furniture. I've been trying to make like just a chair, right, a simple chair, and then like have that be my personal work slapped on with my personal logo on it.
Oh, wow. And then maybe, what type of chair are you thinking of?
Just a regular chair. I want to get more into like the process of making something, so I can be more hands-on, and more what's it called? Like more productive in making stuff with my hands. I feel like that would be really nice, like gesture to further my like creativity in both like Jobbery and this and that. Like just being attention to detail and what I can produce with my hands and stuff like that.
Dude, that's pretty amazing. Do you think how much do you think you would prioritize it once you finish like school? And now that you have a job and
I think I for sure want to prioritize it a lot more. Once I graduate, I for sure want to do a lot more things. First, I like actually like setting a shirt or whatever, or like a jacket or a sweater, something. Hopefully soon it does come soon, but I also want to make stuff from scratch, like completely from scratch, like designing the whole thing from
like
the
make your own
to the collar. Yeah, because I feel like I'm very picky with when it comes to shirts. Like I don't want a loose neck shirt, and if it is, I don't really like it. I'd rather have it like a little, not choking you, but like have it like,
and it feels good, like when the cuffs grip you tight.
It's just a different feeling for sure. So then I want to do like the goal is to have a whole outfit from like my brand, right? Like socks, shoes, pants, underwear, like undershirt or like hoodie, jacket, rings maybe. But yeah, that's the goal. Like have a whole outfit, produce a whole outfit through like the brand, or if not the brand, like me, right? I produce the whole fit. Design the pants to the shirt to the jacket.
Do you feel like that would be your first release? Would your releases be more of outfits?
I would want them to be, but obviously right now I don't think I'll be able to because of time and just like where would I? For sure, it's just like
It'd be more difficult, right? To mass produce these.
Yeah, and then like funds too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot. So then I think not anytime soon, but that would be the goal. Like this would look good, or even like because I've had ideas where like you should wear this kind of shirt with. I think even now sometimes we think like, oh, this shirt always looks good with this like this jacket or whatever, right? Or like this button up looks good with.
That's also something really good because I feel like anyone could do this. So you could have your own brand, JobberyRejects. You could have Ruiz and have your own thing, but then you could also have Ruiz Fashion Consultant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's already like many websites of people who are kind of doing that, where they're like, oh, just tell us what you like, and we'll send you out stuff. You know?
Yeah.
But you could even be something more high end, high fashion, where you could have a personal sit down with someone and actually talk to them like, hey, what do you like? What fits you good? This or that, and then you could give them a whole outfit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's gonna be like something that they're not just gonna pay you for the product, but they're also gonna pay you for your expertise, and I just think it's, you know, overall good.
Yeah, it is like something you can for sure like lean towards if you're into that.
Yeah. What would it be if you ever get to the point where JobberyRejects is making a living, right? It's giving you a living, or do you ever see yourself at a point where you'd be like, okay, I'm an architecture now, but I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna focus full time on JobberyRejects? Do you feel like you'll ever reach that point? No, not do you ever feel like you'll reach that point, but do you feel like once that happens, where JobberyRejects just kicks off, do you feel like you'll leave the 9 to 5, or you would still have both to a certain degree?
It's funny because I thought about not like quitting like what I'm studying or whatever, like not like that, but I have thought about like what if I just do like the clothing and like the design and all that like full time, and not even do like the architecture degree, or not, I'll get the degree, right, but like the licensure and like practice that. I have thought about those things, but then recently it's like I don't think that would be a good call, because like if it wasn't for the school or the education, I wouldn't be where I was now. So it's like I feel like it would benefit me to continue with this like my architecture journey, and then just have this like in the back as my
your distraction, or
like let's just say something not working out, I can go over here and like make something as a not a hobby but more of my side work, right? Like having this as a nice
your
way,
passion,
my find my like my peace of mind, right? Like have this to fall back to, and like creating work still, because sometimes like projects, they take time, so they're slow, so like I won't really see the end result will come quicker when I make stuff like this, like for Jobbery, than I will like with work, for the most part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it'll be faster.
So you might get like that satisfaction here.
Yeah.
And then
like over here, I'll still be getting like work done and stuff like that. But I don't think I should. I don't know. I'm still like in the.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Like, trying to do that. I feel like for myself, there's definitely like business ventures I would want to do. But like I feel like I'm not at that point yet. You know what I mean? Just like how I'm saying, like, oh, maybe you should make like Ruiz Fashion Consultant.
Yeah.
Like I have these ideas of where I want to take them to, but I just feel like I gotta get all the knowledge first.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta be very knowledgeable first before I do that.
Yeah. I was gonna also mention like when it comes to like deciding if I were to choose this full time or choose that full time, I think also like being important for me, at least to have like all these skill sets in the back of my pocket for whatever occasion, right? Because I feel like let's say this job specifically works with like people in that realm that I'm like doing myself, like, oh, I can cater to them because I have some experience in that, so I can work with something like that. Or even like I've done work similar in other occasions, so like I have this whole new skill set over there in the back of my pocket, and I can like, oh, I don't need it now, but I can use it later maybe. Like I feel like that's why I always like learning, or even making different things, or even just the idea that I can I can do something different. It's like always what's interesting me. Was always interested me, and like always wanted to pursue, like to learn and just like gain as much knowledge, because probably won't use it now, but I think later on, for whatever reason, I have it in the back of my pocket for whatever reason, because every problem is different, and every problem has a different solution. So I think like still keeping the stuff that you're interested in like close to you is always good, because like it can be like a stress reliever, or it can also be like your way of gaining more information for like other work and stuff like that.
And something that I've always thought of too was, okay, when you have a job and then you have like your passion, right? Like you're separating both of them, right? And in your passion, Jobbery, you just want to come out with the best product, right? Yeah. And then your job here is what's, you know, keeping you going or even funding this. But once you have like your passion and it's like the only thing, then you gotta start thinking about, you know, I don't want to say cutting corners, but you never know what you might have to kind of sacrifice in your own passion, just so you could have like food, you know, or a place to live. And like that's something where I'm like, I hope that never happens to anyone, where you're working on your passion, but it's no longer your first vision.
It's nice that you bring that up, because I recently had a full circle moment with the project that I'm working in right now in school, the one that's getting built. So then there was a point where they needed merch. It was last semester when I was in the had it as a studio. They needed merch, and I was like, oh well, I design clothing. You can check out the stuff I do, and everyone in school knows. Like obviously they have my page and they follow me, and then like I tell them and I wear stuff, right? And they're like, oh, your stuff, right? So then everyone knew. So then it was the beginning of the studio. Like I was meeting this professor for the first time, and I was like, I design, like graphic design. I don't really call myself a graphic designer, but I make graphics, right? And I design logos and stuff like that. So I'm like, I do that for my stuff. I can do it for here. So then they're like, okay, if you want to take that project on, then they'll work with something and make something. So then I first had to show them that I screen printed too. So I also screen print, and I show them my work and stuff like that. So they kind of trusted me there. And then my classmates knew, so they were like, yeah, he's the best guy for the job, because he does this stuff already for his own stuff. So then I put myself up and like to do the work, and then I provided myself as a resource to the professor so we can have merch for the project. So then I designed logos for them. I did 2 of them. I did a couple, and then some of them got approved, some others didn't. And then we got it screen printed, and then like so it was like a full circle moment, because it's like what I do on the side, I was able to bring it into school and make it happen. And then I designed the logo, I produced the shirts, I also like had to like educate her and like the people there, and then it was just a full circle moment, because I was able to bring like my passion or the stuff that I was doing on the side into school, and then make them merge. And then now recently we produced sweaters, so now we have sweaters in the mix, and it was just dope, because I felt like the stuff that I do on the side was very beneficial. Your world's it was like very beneficial to bring this into school, because it's all me. It's like those things are like an extension of myself, and it was like nice that they mixed and coexisted together, and it made me feel even like prouder of my work and what I do and how it all can balance together. So then even having that now, it's like nice, because I can have it in my portfolio. So then all these other stuff, and even with the drone videos, so that also came in. Other separate like hobbies that I had on the side that I wouldn't have known how to merge them into like my education or stuff like that. Everything came in. So drone videography and photography, and then the graphic designing logos and stuff like that, and even like producing shirts and sweaters and talking to manufacturers and stuff like that. Like all that came into my schoolwork, which is like a full circle moment, because like how else would it have happened if it wasn't for this project? And it's like finally now everything's in there. I'm not just an architecture student, and like I do my clothing brand, I do like drone videography, photography, I do the editing for that stuff too. So it's like all of this just came in, and it's like now it's all in the mix. Awesome, and it's just like that's me as a person, and all these things are like an extension of myself. So it's like finally.
Yeah, it's also pretty cool that like your classmates are all like, George.
Yeah,
like they saw you working, like this is the guy when he.
Yeah, basically. So then not only that, I also did it for a club at school too. So then I help them make their screens. We got them to get printed and screen and exposed for. So we have the screens now. But like I like that now. I've become more involved because I feel like before I wasn't really as involved, but now I've become more involved and like have became more into more known for like I have those techniques.
You get your name out there too.
Like I have those techniques. And
you're gonna be the go-to guy for everything Woodbury wants.
Like credible, right? Like now I'm more credible.
Yeah.
And that's what's always been dope to me. Like,
so you do photography too, or just drone videography?
No, I do just photography. I want to get more into it, but I don't have a camera, so I just did it on my phone. But I have the drone, so I do drone videography more than I do photography. But recently, I've been doing more photos, and yeah, that's also something that I want to get more into for sure.
Okay. I've been wanting to do a photo shoot like with my team, like the No Offers team. I've been telling them, but it's kind of hard to get everyone like.
You mean drawing stuff like
on
that?
The same page. Well, I was thinking just photography.
Oh, photography. Oh, yeah.
Like get like a photo shoot going on with the team. I feel like that would be pretty cool.
Well, I have my phone, but I feel like everyone has a phone, so I don't have a legit camera.
But we don't have the techniques you got, right?
Well, yeah. Well, if you want,
we don't got the editing that you got.
Yeah, you know? That thing. Yeah.
So for anyone out there who needs screen printing, drone footage, or any architectural designs, hit on my boy George.
Or just idea talking.
Just idea talking, huh? Or just some collaborations.
Yeah.
Collaborations, hit on my boy George, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say to the people?
I'll just keep doing you. Follow my brand, JobberyRejects.
I'll put it in the description down below.
And yeah, just watch out for more.
Watch out for what's next.
Yeah.